So now that we've given him the letter, it's time to go visit Medli. And again, I'm pretty sure that she doesn't actually show up if, you don't talk to her and get the letter first. So if you're in a situation where the game thinks that all of this stuff has been completed, then you're not going to get the letter. And you'll see what I mean by that in the extra part. I'm not really sure how all of this happened. I mean, I know that Valu is the cause of all this, but like, does the dragon have the power to create this kind of weather? I mean, he's a fire dragon. Is she a Mary Sue? Like, the person that Medli's talking about? Because I'm not seeing any flaw. She sounds like a perfectly admirable character. But, like, it's not how you write a character. This seems like a pretty pointless dialogue option. Like, I'm guessing that if you choose I don't think so, you won't be able to progress with the plot, so you'll have to talk to her again, and then say, sure. But anyways, this is a pretty cool cruelty potential. Like, I like Medli, but I also like doing this. And there's just something so satisfying about this. This is brilliant! Like, they even have her talk like she's dazed. And you can just keep doing it over and over again to no real consequences. This is a nice way to cheat this section. Basically, you can make sure that the wind is faced exactly the way you want. Even though the wind is blowing the way that I want already, just have the wind be facing. Like, I think it might be a glitch, actually. But yeah, I forgot that I wasn't supposed to jump off that ledge with her, and that I was actually supposed to throw her. Because it's been a while since I played this game. And I was thinking of the Earth Temple. So that's actually a situation where having experience with the game can screw you up when you go back to the earlier parts of it. Like muscle memory. How? I guess the person she was talking about taught her some language. I guess she wanted Medli to be her successor. It's pretty good that we got an extra bottle, because they're pretty useful, obviously, for potions and stuff. Well, of course you wouldn't want to tell anyone, because they'd get worried about her. Like, obviously, Medli's going to get herself in trouble. She doesn't have a weapon or anything. I guess she has no way of knowing that there's monsters inside that place, but she can fly. I mean, she can fly over all the monsters. And in fact, like, speedrunners can use a glitch to basically fly, and they can skip a whole bunch of stuff. So, why does Medli get captured in the first place? Like, sure, she doesn't have any weapons, but she can still fly over everything. Like, in fact, like, are we expected to believe that she got captured the minute she walked into the dungeon? And that's why the first locked door we see isn't already unlocked by her? With her progressing through the dungeon? It's pretty annoying missing with that bomb. Like, if you don't stand exactly the right place, it's not sure what the right place is, then you're gonna end up missing, and you're gonna have to do it again. I really like the effect where they bothered to have the volcanic ash fall into the water. And of course it doesn't immediately completely pollute the water, because, like, it just started, like, raining ash. I really hate this part. Like, the last time I played the game, it took me forever, constantly throwing that bomb over and over again, so I finally got that statue to fall over. But yeah, this is the Dragon Roost Cavern. And it's an alright dungeon. Your first puzzle is a block puzzle, which is pretty bland, And after this is another block puzzle. Well, I say puzzle, but while this sort of qualifies as a puzzle, the next one is literally just you pull out a block, and that's it. Like, the puzzles in this game, for the most part, don't really require much thought. Like, in general, Zelda doesn't have that complicated puzzles, which I like about it, because it focuses on, like, it's about completing a task and being satisfied that you completed that task because you completed it. If it was just about hard puzzles, then I would play a puzzle game if I wanted that. But yeah, you can also like light torches with the Dooku stick. I always call it a Dooku stick because that's what I always pronounce. That's how I always pronounced Deku when I was a kid. I never knew anyone who pronounced it Deku, so I always call it Dooku. And I'm probably not gonna stop calling it that. I don't really see the point of that camera angle either, because you're not gonna remember all of that they're showing you. And Slowflake's playthrough of the game actually was on an emulator, and he had to change some settings in Dolphin so that he would be able to play this dungeon, because apparently Dolphin really doesn't like the lava effects in this game. And the fire and stuff. That's the biggest reason why I've never even bothered trying to play this game in Dolphin. Because, like, with emulators, you can add new codes, whereas with my terrible Action Replay, I can't add new codes. I'm stuck with the ones that they have. Which means that if I had this game on an emulator, I would probably be able to show you the pig dungeon test room, for example. Because that would be a code that I could add. But just the sheer fact that you have to fiddle with the settings to make lava appear and stuff discourages me from... Dick move!
If you don't know that the Choo-Choo is going to show up, then you're going to get hit by it.
That's great design. I intentionally climbed up that ladder and got myself hit by it just to show you how cheap that could be on your first playthrough of the game. And even your second, because like how are you supposed to memorize every single enemy placement? I mentioned earlier that there are 3 major issues with the combat in this game. But what I forgot to mention was that there's actually another major issue, aside from the weak attacks and the fact that every attack is mapped to the same button. It's the invincibility frames that the monsters have. Especially noticeable when you're fighting moblins and bokoblins, as they get knocked down, and then you have to wait for them to get back up. Like, at least Twilight Princess introduced a finishing move, where you could at least attack them while they were lying down, unless you were the wolf for some reason. But in this game, you just constantly have to wait for them to get back up, and sometimes they'll have invincibility frames, like, right after they get up too. Like you saw when I was fighting that final bokoblin in the Forsaken Fortress, some of my attacks weren't doing anything. And that is what really makes fighting moblins tense sometimes, is that you know that some of your attacks might not deal any damage, and then that can end up getting you attacked. I just don't see the point of giving enemies invisibility frames, especially in a game that's supposed to be easy because it's more geared towards kids. Like, in general, this game is not very difficult whatsoever. That's part of the reason I like it so much, because Twilight Princess has some pretty difficult parts, and there used to be a time whenever I thought about doing another playthrough of that game, I just thought about the really annoying parts of the game, like the escort mission, and a certain puzzle. Like, the puzzle of the Earth Temple, I know how to do it. So it's not that it's hard anymore. It's more that it just hurts my eyes. Well, there's multiple puzzles, but I mean the very last one. Something that I forgot to mention, and I was certain that I would have mentioned it right at the right time, but I was so distracted with complaining about Forsaken Fortress itself that I ended up not talking about it, is the Gossip Stone skip. Basically, you can actually skip getting the cutscene where Tetra talks to you with the Gossip Stone for the first time.
by just carefully, like, going back into the water with a side jump and stuff, and then climbing up the orange geometry to the right of the canoe and stuff. And you can do that to actually skip going to the area that activates the Gossip Stone cutscene. This is a problem because it ends up messing up some stuff later in the game. Because if you don't get Tetra talking to you for the first time, then the game never puts the Gossip Stone in your inventory. And you need the Gossip Stone in your inventory in order to get bombs. Because after you get bombs, Tetra talks to you with the Gossip Stone. Like, speedrunners like to skip the Gossip Stone, and they can only get away with that because they know how to beat the game without bombs at all, which I'm not really sure is possible. I'm not really sure that's possible because, like, you can't beat the Tower of the Gods without the cannon. So maybe I'm remembering that wrong, but basically the Gossip Stone skip, the results of it are that after the Windfall Island pirate cutscene, the pirate ship, when you go into it, it reverts back to the way that it was at the beginning of the game. And you talk to Nico, and he gives you the normal pirate ship jumping mission. And after that, you get the spoils bag, and not the actual bombs. And that's all because you don't have the Gossip Stone that you need, that the game expects you to have. And if you exit the pirate ship at that point, then you'll end up being brought back to the Forsaken Fortress for the first time. And you won't be able to activate the cutscene where you get sent out of a cannon because Tetra isn't there. Because the game sort of knows that she's not supposed to be there, that you're past that point in the game. So you'll get a situation where you're stuck. Or at least you think you are, because saving and quitting actually gets you out of the pirate ship, and somehow the game knows to bring you back to Windfall Island. Except you don't have your sword anymore, because the game thinks that it removed your sword. Even though you didn't... Well, I guess it knew that it already activated that sword moving cutscene, even though you still have the sword at the point where you realize the Tetra wasn't in the ship. It's weird. And when you get yourself to a Moblin with no sword, he captures you and sends you all the way back to the Forsaken Fortress. And you can basically complete Forsaken Fortress stealth section again, and then you can get all. Basically, the game won't play the boat intro cutscene over again. It'll just spawn you where Link would have spawned after that cutscene. And, of course, it's a stormy night, because that's the point of the game that you're at. And you'll have your sword back. So it's really not that big of a deal. It's just that it makes it... I don't know if you actually can get bombs. Like, I think that might happen again if you try to get the bombs again. Or maybe you can get the Gossip Stone if you go through that stealth section and, like, go to the right part of it. I don't know. I've never done the glitch myself. I just heard about it. Anyways, earlier in this dungeon I showed off that the game expects you to use bait to get a rat to sell you potions. But the annoying thing is, it doesn't. Like, I've seen it happen, but whenever I try, the rat just ignores the bait and attacks me. I don't know if it's I guess it's just bad luck. But anyways, I like how this dungeon changes aesthetic. Like, now you're in a part of the dungeon like this, and sometimes you're in a dungeon part that's more lava-like. So it doesn't always feel like a fire dungeon. Right here, we have a kind of annoying and intuitive part of the dungeon. Because all of the bokoblins that Ganon hired to kill you, by the way, are hiding. And you need to defeat certain Bokoblins in order to progress with the game. I guess that's why they're hiding, because they're genre savvy and they know that you need to defeat a certain amount of them to progress. Because, like, I remember not defeating all of them in a previous playthrough, and I still was able to progress. It's really annoying getting a treasure chart, because every time you get one, you have to scroll through all of its text all over again. And there's so much text. Like, why can't it just do what A Link to the Past did with its treasures? Where if you got arrows in a treasure chest, it just gave you the arrows. It didn't remind you what the arrows were. Why can't it just do that with a treasure chart? Like after the first time you've gotten one. The jump attack doesn't really have that much range. So there's really no point to using it, to be honest. Like, I guess they just decided, well, might as well put something in there. Like, if you miss time, like if you try a parry attack too early. Because they figured that the parry attack was an attack. So, why not